congrats on the premiere. The movie was incredible. It was so fun. What was each of your favorite moments from filming?
I will go first. I mean, I think to be able to just film this movie in general is such an amazing experience. Being able to work alongside such incredible people like, you know, these three and these two, and, you know, the rest of our beautiful cast, you know.
Your dad's here in spirit.
Yeah. It's not something you get to experience every day. So being able to just, like, truly my favorite part of filming was just being able to work with them, like work alongside people that make the journey just 10 times better, you know, and it just made it so fun, and like nothing was serious. Like we were just filming like a home movie the whole time, but it's like not.
Yeah, I feel like when people ask me this question, I say a different answer every single time, but it's because
there is so many reasons why it was so good.
There's so many reasons why it was amazing, and now that I'm thinking about it, like the gas station, I think that was a really fun scene to shoot.
That was fun.
Yeah, and they did have the puppet. It's like people for the mutadons, and like I think that was a really cool scene to shoot, and that was in the fridge, and I really like that.
I love being on the sailboat too. I felt like when we were on the sail, it was like gorgeous out, and it was so hot, but we bonded a lot. So.
You were actually in the Mediterranean Sea
we were,
for that, right?
We were.
Yeah.
On location?
Yeah.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I still feel this motion.
Yeah, oh my gosh, never left.
Oh man. And what was each of your familiarity with the Jurassic Park movies, especially the original trilogy, before you filmed this?
Pretty familiar, yeah. Very familiar. I've seen it multiple times throughout my life, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it before too, before all my auditions. Of course, I think it's such an iconic franchise that you've seen it before.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, the original trilogy I grew up with for sure, but I also really I remember seeing the first Jurassic World in theaters with a good friend of mine, so pretty familiar.
Yeah.
Do each of you have a favorite character from the franchise, either the originals or the newer ones?
Malcolm.
I was going to say Malcolm.
Yeah, Malcolm.
I was going to say Ian Malcolm.
Yeah,
man.
Malcolm.
He's the man.
Yeah, Jeff. It's
Also,
just icon, you know.
Yeah.
Ellie Sattler's pretty great too.
Also, just like style icon.
Yeah, of
Jeff. Style icon.
Yeah.
Totally accurate. No, I have to ask as well about the Raft scene, which was super intense, and I think it's a scene a lot of fans are really excited to finally see come to life since it was from the original book. And I know there was a lot of hype around it that it was supposed to be in the first movie, and then it was left out. Did you guys know that it was such a big deal before you filmed it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I don't think I knew that. But
I knew it going into it.
I think Gareth brought it up to us, or I don't know if it was, but
Gareth had a full conversation with like.
I didn't. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talked to
it was
David
like lunchtime,
Gareth, yeah.
so maybe we were all eating, you know. But he brought it up to all of us that this was a big scene that he was really passionate about. So,
I had a like one-on-one conversation with Gareth and David, and sort of just talking about why this is such an iconic moment and why they're doing the specific decisions for this scene, every single intricate detail for this scene. So being able to just like sit with them, especially David, and just sit and talk and understand why this is going to be such an iconic scene in the movie was so surreal and such an amazing like moment to be able to have. Like it's just really kind of pinched me. So yeah, being able to like talk to them about that was really, really fun, and just being able to like break it down, because it is a scene that a lot of people are going to remember.
Yeah, it's incredible. I think it's going to go up there as one of the most iconic scenes from the whole franchise. So congrats on that. What was it?
Thank you.
What was it like filming those intense moments? Especially Audrina, you had that whole thing where you were. Yeah. No spoilers. It was intense for you. Yeah.
Yes. So this is my first film. So getting into the mindset of realisticness of all of this, and they would show us how the dinosaurs would look before we filmed a scene, so it was easier for me to imagine how it was gonna look, because you know it's pretty scary. And I think it's just finding the emotion was easier than I thought, because these are super scary, but like, you know, at the same time it's amazing to see how they turned out by the end of the movie.
And speaking of the dinosaurs, I have to talk about Dolores. Obviously, protect Dolores at all costs, for sure. She was adorable. How was it interacting with her? You obviously had to do most of that.
She's so cute. I met her in Thailand for the first time, and they had like a whole thing of recording it, and she's the cutest thing ever. I remember when they were like making the design, and they were like, Steven said they wanted more stripes on it. I'm like, oh, okay.
She was practical.
Yeah.
She was there, very real.
Yeah, it was an animatronic, so it actually moved, and it was just something really cool for my first film.
Yeah.
Something I can never forget.
You get your own little, like, Dolores doll to come with you?
You know, I didn't, but I got the toys, and I'd say that's pretty realistic.
I was going to say, you have a few toys.
Yeah, they shipped me some of the toys, so that to have with me, and they look pretty realistic to Dolores.
Yeah, the $1 million animatronic one, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's in a museum somewhere. Or like in
Yeah, it took 3
in like a glass
controls.
box.
Yeah.
It took 3 remote controls to control that animatronic.
Wow.
So it was a lot.
Super cool. David, I wanted to talk about Xavier. He provides a lot of the comic relief in the movie. He's such a funny character. Were there any sort of like classic action movie characters who are comic relief that you sort of took inspiration from, either from the original Jurassic movies or other franchises?
I guess you could say Jeff Goldblum as Ian Malcolm, totally. Like, I felt like if I had to have a comp in the Jurassic universe, it would be that. Also, like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. You know what I mean? I felt very, I remember feeling a couple times being like, if this was the Scooby Gang, I would still be Shaggy. Just like in appearance and also in the performance. So I'll go Shaggy and Jeff Goldblum.
That comes through for sure. Especially Shaggy, for sure. I guess what was the most intense scene for each of you to film in the movie?
I had this moment, I don't want to give too much away, obviously, but there's this moment where it's like I'm in a very claustrophobic setting and there's water involved, and we really did it practically. Like, we had a great marine team that was like standing by with a scuba tank, and me and Manuel did like scuba training for like a month before we shot that scene. And it was terrifying. It was genuinely terrifying. I felt safe, but I totally did feel that horrific nature of the moment. So, yeah.
Audrina, I know you mentioned the gas station scene. Is that it for you?
I'd say probably actually the boat when I'm hanging off of it. I know it's in the trailer, right? So that scene, because the boat was actually on its side, and I was all harnessed up, but it's still a little scary, but all the stunt team was there, so I felt really safe, and they were splashing water on me, fans were everywhere, and Gareth, he actually showed me a video of like a Jaws scream that happened in the movie, and he's like, I want you to scream like this, Audrina. And he's like, you really need to get into it. So I was like, okay. But
I think for me, I'm like crying and screaming this entire film, so there's quite a few. But I think maybe towards the end, it's like the end of the movie, and I let out this really just gut-wrenching scream to a dinosaur, and there's just tears flowing, and I think that was a fun scene to film. It was just all of us. It was super, like, we were in London at that time, I think. And the question was emotional, right? Was it? No?
Or most intense?
Oh, yeah.
Emotionally intense.
I guess that or the raft scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, congrats, and thanks again so much for your time.
Thank you.
you.